Man, his coach, you look at me as dad. Do it look like his son supposed to be taking his dad? I don't even feel right. Y'all hear this time? Oh, Tank don't pay his coach. Hey, come on now. Coach Barry Hunter trained Tank for this fight with Lamont Roach, not Calvin Ford. A lot of people were saying that this performance has something to do with that. So, is something really going on between Calvin Ford and Tank Davis? Check out what Tank had to say.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis is facing the toughest battle of his life. And this time, it's not in the boxing ring. After narrowly avoiding jail time for his latest probation violation, the WBA lightweight champion now finds himself entangled in an even bigger legal fight. Lamont Roach's team has officially taken the controversial majority draw decision to court, arguing that Davis's own words in the ring serve as proof that the fight was rigged. If the lawsuit succeeds, it could have devastating consequences for Davis's career.
Lamont Roach, his coach or his manager or whoever it is, his trainer, somebody filed a lawsuit, right?
His lawyer filed a lawsuit.
Yeah.
During the closing moments of the fight, as Lamont Roach continued to challenge Gervonta "Tank" Davis, an exchange between the two fighters took center stage. Davis told Roach, "You ain't going to win. They ain't going to give it to you." At the time, many brushed it off as just another mind game from Davis. However, Roach's legal team is now using those very words as the backbone of their lawsuit, arguing that they serve as an open admission. Their argument is simple. If Tank already knew the outcome before the scorecards were read, then something was clearly off. Roach's team insists that the fight was supposed to be fair, but instead, it was manipulated behind the scenes. The lawsuit isn't just about overturning the decision. It's about exposing what they call a blatant robbery in boxing. And if the court rules in their favor, Tank could be barred from stepping into the ring for the next 28 months.
Punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, he should be disqualified, he went back to the corner, I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a war.
That's 2 years and 4 months of forced inactivity, something that could drastically alter his career. At 30 years old, losing that much time would put Tank in a tough spot. The sport moves fast, and while he's tied up in legal battles, younger fighters will be rising through the ranks. This legal storm couldn't have come at a worse time for him. Tank already has a long history of legal trouble, and his most recent probation violation has only added to the chaos. His decision to leave Florida without permission, despite being given multiple chances, led the judge to question whether he even respects the law. During the hearing, the judge made it clear that she had already been lenient with Tank in the past. She had even granted him special permission to attend the 2024 Paris Olympics to support Team USA Boxing. Yet he still chose to break the rules and travel without approval. His probation agents weren't pleased either. One admitted that reaching him had become so difficult that they had to go through his team just to get in contact with him. The state pushed for jail time, with one attorney recommending a $25,000 fine on top of it. Despite everything, the judge decided against sending him back to jail. Instead, she extended his probation by another 18 months and fined him $10,000. But that wasn't even the real punishment. The real problem now is what this lawsuit could do to his career. The situation is already bad, but what's making it even worse is that Tank no longer has his most trusted advisor by his side. Calvin Ford, the veteran trainer who played a key role in guiding him to superstardom, is no longer part of his team. Now, Ford is speaking out about what's going wrong. Ford has seen it all. He was there when Tank faced legal troubles in the past, but still managed to stay focused on his career. In his opinion, the key difference back then was Floyd Mayweather. Tank is a fighter. That's what he does best. He should stick to that, Ford said when asked about the current situation. Boxing politics is different. It takes experience. That's how Floyd helped Tank become great, even in the middle of legal trouble back then.
It's like, when I ain't had no pops, Calvin was the person that you feel me, stepped in that shoes. So no matter if he's not my coach, anything like that, he's always going to be in my life.
Ford's comments weren't just advice. They were a reminder. He pointed out that when Tank was under Mayweather's guidance, he was able to navigate his legal issues without letting them derail his career. Floyd had faced his own troubles outside the ring, but he knew how to balance everything while still dominating the sport. He had the experience, the connections, and the knowledge to handle boxing's toughest business and legal challenges.
You know, Floyd is Floyd. That's like I say, Tank is Tank, man. But at the end of the day, you know, the man is chasing greatness. And you should be supporting that. I always tell you that. You should be supporting that, you know. It's a rocky road that we see what's going on. Just pay attention.
I used to sleep in Coach Calvin's house. I used to sleep at his job when he was working at a seafood restaurant in Baltimore.
Now, Tank is trying to do things his own way, and Ford believes that's his biggest mistake. The legal system doesn't care how many knockouts he has. The courts don't care how many belts he holds. Without the right people guiding him, his career could fall apart before he even gets the chance to fight again. And according to Ford, maybe Tank deserves it for walking away from the team that helped bring him to greatness.
Tank was the first one in the gym, the last one out the gym. Tank used to sit on the ring like this and watch me train him.
How old is he at this point?
He was like 7, 8. Okay. A lot of stuff that I was giving my son was giving it to Tank. So it was a perfect fit. Tank was like the fan.
Intro 9. The problem Tank is facing isn't just about this one lawsuit. It's about his reputation in boxing. If the court finds any evidence that the Roach fight was manipulated, it won't just result in a suspension. It could make him an outcast in the sport. Boxing has always had its share of controversies, but once a fighter is labeled as corrupt, it's nearly impossible to recover. Sponsors pull out, networks hesitate to air their fights, and sanctioning bodies may even strip them of their belts. For Tank, who built his career on being a knockout artist and one of the sport's most exciting fighters, this would be a disaster. That fight was already one of Tank's worst performances, and now with this lawsuit, people are scrutinizing it even more closely. Did he genuinely struggle that night, or was there something else going on? Was the fight actually competitive, or was the outcome predetermined before the opening bell? These are the questions boxing fans, analysts, and even other fighters are now asking. And with Calvin Ford no longer in his corner, Tank lacks that steady voice of experience reminding him to stay focused.
Man, I'm not. Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if he voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count.
If Tank doesn't get ahead of this situation, it could spiral even further out of control. The court ruling on this lawsuit will determine everything. If he's found guilty of any wrongdoing, his 28-month suspension could become even longer. Ford's message was clear. Tank needs to get back to being a fighter. He has to stop trying to control the business side of boxing without the right people behind him. Staying out of trouble, avoiding further legal issues, and proving that he still belongs at the top of the sport should be his priorities. Because right now, boxing is moving on without him.
Calvin is Calvin. You know what I mean? I got Calvin tatted on me. Calvin ain't going nowhere. Y'all don't even know Calvin for CCO. I know Calvin, you know what I mean? I don't know.
For years, Calvin Ford and Gervonta Davis were inseparable. Their bond wasn't just about boxing, it was personal. Ford had been there from the very beginning, shaping Davis into the star he is today. Fans never expected to see Tank enter a major fight without Ford in his corner. But on March 1st, that changed. For the first time, Davis stepped into the ring without Ford, and for the first time, he failed to secure a victory, resulting in a majority draw against Roach. Some say it was a robbery. Others believe it was karma for breaking up a winning team. The exact reason behind their split remains unclear. Ford downplayed the situation, saying he simply took a step back. But in a recent interview, his words hinted at a different story.
Hey, Tank, when Calvin be with you on this fight? What you saying? Huh? Calvin be with you on this fight?
I don't know. Gotta see.
On the surface, Ford's explanation seemed simple. He wanted to focus more on his younger fighters. No, he came to see me. Slow down and worrying about you. Because boom, he knows that I spend time with my amateurs, Ford said. You know me. Both of y'all know me very well. I spend time with my amateurs all the time. That's my piece. But that reasoning doesn't sit right with many. Ford had always balanced training amateurs while still making time for Tank. So why would he suddenly step away from his biggest fighter right before one of the most controversial fights of Tank's career?
So it's great for me. I got 2 head coaches that call me. It's fire. I'm probably the only one that can do that or ever done it in sport. Like bring 2 head coaches together. You know what I mean? So it worked out in my favor, man. You know what I mean?
Some insiders believe Ford wasn't happy with how Tank was handling his career. The lawsuit over the Roach fight, the legal troubles, the constant chaos surrounding his name. Ford had seen this story before. Fighters with immense talent who let distractions ruin their potential. Maybe he didn't want to be part of another downfall. And let's not forget, Ford was always a loyal soldier under Mayweather Promotions. He saw firsthand how Floyd guided Tank through the business side of boxing. But once Tank left Mayweather and decided to take control of his own career, everything changed. The fights became harder to secure. The legal problems piled up, and now he's on the verge of being banned from boxing for 28 months. Would this have happened if Ford was still in his corner? That's the big question.